WBF International Super Featherweight Champion and a former WBF All Africa Lightweight Champion. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting show on Ringside Talk. With me tonight, I've got one extraordinary woman taking boxing by storm. The lady has done such big things in South Africa, promoting some of the biggest fights, creating some of the biggest champions in the African continent. And I'm very blessed and honored to have you in studio with me today. I welcome you all the way from South Africa, Miss Joyce Kungwane. Hello, Mom. How are you?
Hi, David. I'm well, thanks, and you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for taking this time to come speak to me on my show on Ringside Talk. I'm very, very excited to have you on as one of my guests. And we're looking forward to hearing from you this evening.
It's a pleasure, and I also feel honored to be part of your show tonight.
Thank you. Ma'am, let's just start off with, I introduced you to the people as the promoter in South Africa, a woman doing wondrous and amazing things. I've been watching you all the way from Germany, and it's amazing what you're doing. But before we get into the whole promotion and the boxing journey and the great things you're doing back at home, could you just tell us more about who Mama Joyce is, where you grew how it was growing up, not just a little background for the viewers to know more of you.
Okay, Mama Joyce is a South African woman who grew up doing different sporting codes. I played netball. That was a common sporting code anyway when we were growing up. And I played handball. I played squash, I played soccer, and as for boxing, I never boxed in my life.
Yeah.
And the influence and the love for boxing came from my late partner, that's Lehlahonolo Ledwaba, whom we buried last year, and he's always in peace.
Yes, very recent.
That's basically where the love for boxing came from.
Okay, very interesting, Mom. And growing up, where in South Africa did you grow up? You also grew up in a very tough time in South Africa. In they know it as the apartheid era. Where about in South Africa where did you grow up? Oh,
Okay, it's two provinces. It's
okay,
Northwest and Gauteng.
okay.
Yes.
Nice. And how was that for you growing up in those times? South Africa was going through a very difficult time. Um, would you share with us a little bit on your experiences?
Well, I can't say I experienced a lot of the rough times. I don't know whether I was the fortunate one, but I think growing up, it was when things were getting better, actually.
Okay,
Because, yes, most of the challenges that people went through, I did not experience.
okay,
Well, it's most of the things I heard from my mom, who used to tell me what is it that used to happen when they would be put into those trucks
action.
because
Oh,
they did not have a pass, all those things. But I did not experience them.
it did not affect you. Uh, Very nice, Mom. That sounds like, it's a blessing. I had former champion Brian Mitchell on one of our shows, and he also he let us know what he went through, and it's a blessing that you didn't get to go through that oppression. So, Mom, as you were growing up, obviously, in South Africa, as a woman, you went to university. Um, Tell us more about that. Which
Okay.
university you went. I see you worked in a prison system, in the South African prison system, if I'm not mistaken. Will you tell
Okay.
us more?
if I'm to take you through my professional career,
Hmm.
post matric, I registered with the Soweto College of Education, meaning I wanted to be a teacher. And at that time, actually, I had applied for nursing as well. So whilst I was at the college, and the nursing called me to say, "Hey, your offer is open. Can you come for an interview?" And yes, I was stuck between nursing and teaching. And, at the time, I mean, it was not that easy for me traveling from Alexander to Soweto on a daily basis to go to school. Sometimes there would be strikes, sometimes there would be taxi strikes, and we will
Yes.
not be able to go to school. And the parents, they when I told them that the nursing college is calling me, and they said, we think it's better that to go to nursing because you're going to stay there. At the end of the month, you'll be receiving some cents, your independence, and all sort of things. And ultimately, the second year, I quit teaching. Then I went to nursing, and then I was studying in Pretoria,
Okay.
Kalafong Hospital. The nursing college was Lebone then. I know now it has changed. So post nursing, I worked in Rustenburg, in a private hospital called Fencrest. And when I was there, from there, that's when I joined correctional services, and I worked there as a nurse. And when I was inside, I get bored easily, so I registered to study sports management
Okay.
with TUT. And interesting one, I was working permanent night duty, and when I knock off, I'll take my school bag and go to class.
Wow.
That's how much I wanted that qualification.
Yes.
So, due to some challenges that I had, I got admitted in hospital. I went down on depression, and I could not continue with my sports management. But
Okay.
I then said, look, I'll have to push for something. Then I registered for sports psychology, which I graduated with UNISA.
Yes.
And I still felt that I was not fulfilled. Then
Yeah.
I registered with UNISA. I did my public relations management with
Oh,
UNISA. And post that, I was deployed to the union. I was the chief negotiator at the Public Service and Collective Bargaining Council,
oh,
representing the Kosatu block.
oh, wow.
And
Okay.
hey,
I said, okay. I'm sure you know my mother.
so yes, and
Oh,
I was working in the union for, I think, 8 years, 9 years,
yeah.
which I was grateful for because I got an opportunity of going to visit countries outside South Africa.
Yes.
I went to the US, I went to Germany, I went to Amsterdam, I went to Switzerland. You can see I've got a Switzerland cap.
Yes. Yes.
And then I was in London, and well, I don't even want to mention the neighboring, the African states. So
Okay.
it gave me that exposure, which I'm really appreciative and thankful to the union for that. And then I studied postgrad. I did the labor law.
Okay.
So I've got an honors in labor law.
Never know. Wow, mom. It sounds like you were very busy. Like you say, you never get bored. You always searching to do better and greater things for yourself.
Exactly.
And that's amazing. That's very amazing. Wow, that's why I think you can do what you are doing right now in South Africa
Yes.
with
Yes. Yeah.
all you've done. You was just preparing you for what you are doing, and
Indeed.
very
Indeed.
congratulations on everything you achieved. It's a lot of hard work. The viewers back, South Africa is not the easiest place to accomplish so many things. So it's tough, it's hard, and when you do accomplish, it's a great feeling. It's a great accomplishment, and well done, mom. So now crossing over from when you were finished there, uh, you say you came into boxing through your husband. Do you want to tell the viewers how you met the great legend, the Hands of Stone, Lotwaba? I remember I used to watch him on Flow by Flow, and
Uh,
him Zonke Fana. Yes, I
yeah.
remember very well. Yes. Can you
Look,
tell us more about that? How you met your
yeah.
husband and how, yeah, it became.
How TLB was born.
Mm,
Um, when I was still in correctional service, when I was doing, because I was also involved in sports and recreation of inmates. So what I
okay.
used to do, I would invite people like Lidwawa, my late brother, Sheikh Kungwane, my gents, and other guys. So I used to invite them at the prison to come and motivate the inmates. That's
Hey.
how I met Lidwawa.
Okay.
And that
Nice.
was this history.
Okay. That's nice. And can we just go back into how you would work with the inmates and with the boxes? What kind of things you would do with your inmates? I spoke to Anton Gilmore a few weeks ago, and he told us he with his fight inside how they help kids with autism, how boxing helps the kids with autism and kids with problems. How did your guys? How did boxing help the prisoners, and how did your program help with the prisoners?
I can say it really motivated a lot of them because even some who left prison, they continued. Like, for instance, I was in charge of the choir. I started the choirs, and I was also helping them for those who were playing soccer and those who were doing boxing, basically sports recreation. You understand?
Mm,
That's what I was doing, and also, I mean, working with them in trying to prepare them for their release. We used to call it a pre-release program. So
okay.
that's how I would get involved. And I mean, them getting an opportunity of having the legends coming to visit them and motivating them, it
Yes.
clearly gave them hope to say it's not the end of the world.
Yes. Oh, it's very nice, mom. Very nice. Okay. Now we get to your promotion company. Hey, so many questions with this one. Okay,
Yeah.
mom. Can you run us through on how that came about? Firstly, for women, uh, think, I'm not sure if you knew my mom. She worked also for with Satu and everybody. She fought for the gender commission and women's rights in general, and to get women to be in positions like yourself. And
Yeah.
where this question is going is, as a woman, to start doing boxing management in this manly sports they like to call it. How did you you say come about to say, you can do this, you can start a promotion company, especially in South Africa, promoting boxes, and as a woman, you know uh, you can do this. How did all this come about, man?
Okay, as I indicated that the love for boxing came from my late partner, but then
Yes.
the idea of promotions, that was my brainchild. And
Yes.
I want to say this: when we started it, actually, when I thought of it, it was not even about me, but it was about helping him. Because I remember I used to ask him, but what does it take for one to be a promoter? Because remember, uh, after his retirement, he actually went back to be in a corner. He was a trainer, he produced champions. So that's where his passion was. And I said, but I want to be a promoter because I saw a gap actually. to say there
Okay.
were very few. At that time, I did not even know one female promoter.
Hundred
And
percent.
yes, and I said, look, I see a gap. How do I get into this? And because his love was for training and managing boxers,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't show so much interest. Then until I did my own research, and with the help of my other friend who's a doctor, Dr. Nteta, then I spoke to him and said, and he actually used to ask me, what is this man doing? And because our worry was actually about what happens to them post their careers, where we know that they struggle financially, people laugh at them, people talk so bad, in South Africa. And we actually, the idea was to help him rather than helping myself, you understand.
Yeah.
And we thought through promotions, it's how he could make money.
Okay.
And then my friend said, let's spread it. Let's have other former boxes that can, so that we can have a powerful team. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we spoke to Ludwama to say, who do you suggest? And he suggested Dingan Tovela and
Okay. Well,
Jan Bergman. He was very close to Jan Bergman. Then we said, okay, we said, then we agreed to say, guys, this is what we want to do for you. And it was the five of us at the time. And we even said it to them to say, we want to do this for you. It's not even about us.
okay.
So that's how we started. And then we started the company TLB. It was the five of us.
Yes.
And well, along the way, people are people. And what I always say to people, if something is not yours, unfortunately, you will not be able to sustain it. And that's how Dingan got off the along the way. And Jan and my friend Chris is a doctor. He's a gyno. He's very busy, and he was busy with other businesses. And then he said to me, "Look, my friend, it's I'm not winning. I'm just happy that that the baby can now crawl, so I can leave you with this because I can see that you actually the person that is pushing TLP. So rather continue with it." Then I continued with Ludwaba,
Okay.
and but as a promoter, he was just training the boxers because that's
Yes.
where his passion was.
Yes. Oh, that's very nice, ma'am. Do you remember your first show that you like with all five of you probably made for the first show as a promotion?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. The first show was in 2016 or 17, but it was in Times Square in Pretoria. We actually
Yes, I remember.
opened that venue. The
Yeah.
one that we just had Casper and Pretty Ugly fighting at 2 weeks ago. So that's where we had our first tournament. And we were fortunate because it was a new venue. And when we went there asking for sponsors, they welcomed us and the idea of boxing because we opened the arena. And it's something that I will never forget. So that was our first show. It was headlined by Nomeva
Yes, I remember.
Polisani. He was fighting for the WBF. I see you've got WBF belts behind you.
Yes, but yes.
Yes, and yeah, and then the second one was in Soweto when we were commemorating Madiba's 100 years. That
Okay.
was in DOCC
Yes.
in Soweto.
Oh,
You
very
remember,
nice.
if you can remember, DOCC is the venue that actually where Madiba used to train as a boxer. You know that he used to train as a boxer even though he never turned professional. So we were remembering him by taking the event to where he used to train as a boxer.
Is that the event at Dubai?
No, no, no. The Dube, no, no, no.
Dubai
It's it's on Orlando. It's on
Okay, okay.
Orlando, in Orlando.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, my family home is right next door to the Dubai one, to the
Is it?
Dubai.
Oh,
Yes,
the
yes,
duet gym. Oh,
yes.
okay. Okay.
Okay, mom. So with that being said, it sounds like, oh, I just missed all the greatness because I left in 2017 because there was no
Oh,
boxing in South Africa. I was just like,
yes, yes. Just on the
yeah, I just left. But
yeah.
you were saying now with your first show, and it was a successful show. I still remember with that. Now, a few questions I'll have with you with these shows and being a promoter. It must be very difficult, firstly, promotion in South Africa. Um, you know, promoters aren't really as backed by the government as or by municipalities as other countries. You know, the struggles
Broadcaster.
and yes is what like I'm sure you as a woman, not just as a man, as a woman coming into the sport, you must have faced a lot of difficulties, and you still face them today. uh, TV time, getting sponsorships on board, and so forth. Um, you want to run us through that, Mum? The
Yeah,
difficult.
look,
As
it's a struggle. It's a struggle. I call it a dog eat a dog world.
a dog
And
eats the dog wood. Yes, not in the doggy
yes,
dog.
yes,
The dog
definitely.
eats the dog.
You see, when you get into an environment where people are used to doing things this way, and people are used to themselves being the bosses of the road, hey? And then comes this woman, young woman. She comes with her own ideas, and you'd obviously not get a positive reception. To start with, I'm a threat.
Yes, yes.
Being a woman, being a black woman, in South Africa, they're pushing for the support for women. So I'm
Mm,
a threat. And
mm,
instead of people supporting me, actually, they tried many times to sabotage me.
I
I
could
remember
only.
when I got the financial support from Gauteng, because I want to mention it to say very thankful to them because they've been supporting us. It's been Gauteng sports and as well as Mpumalanga.
Oh,
I'm an international licensee, so I go around these provinces. Yeah, I'm
yes.
hoping to come to Canada one day to host the tournament there.
Yes, good.
Yeah, so when people went behind my back and approaching my sponsor to say, yeah, why are they sponsoring me? They should give the money to them and they could do better than me. Sick stories. But
Yes.
I managed. And even afterwards, when I was approaching other sponsors, they would go behind my back and try to sabotage me. Others approached the same Sun Arena to say, yeah, we want to
Can I
come in
ask,
and
does it get more difficult now that you are doing so good, getting better and better? Your shows are just getting bigger. Um, it's just getting better. You got Casper Noves now. Um, it must get tougher with these people, all
yes,
trying to take
yes.
you down.
No, and instead, I'm getting stronger, you know. And I always say to people, look, when you from the political pot, there's no challenge that you'll not be able to take. I mean, I've got political background. I'm from there. I know how tough it used to be because
Mhm.
politics is also male dominated. So
Yes.
I survived there, and then why can't I survive here? Because
Mm.
all I told myself is we competitors, that's it. And if I can do better, why must I stress myself? And but then the very sad thing is, actually, sometimes for me it's a joke, but it's sad when you look at it to say, now it looks like the rest of everybody wants to follow what I'm doing. They're stealing my ideas and implementing them as if they are theirs.
Oh wow.
And I know for a fact that an original and a copy are not the same.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
You see,
100%.
I heard that somewhere there was an event and people mentioned that there's gonna have celebrities fighting, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that people are starting to do now, have
Do
started doing,
nowadays. I
and
see
they're
this.
learning from me, so it means I'm the best.
Yes. You're leading the way. You're leaving the
You
path
understand? I've got
for the juniors.
followers.
Yes.
I've got followers.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very good. You know, for me, what is so amazing is that you are a woman in this man's sport and you're doing so well, you know. And I know how tough it is. As I grew up in South Africa, I was in the boxing my whole life, you know. So I know the people that are involved there, and I know how tough and ugly it could be. And for you as a woman to just be getting stronger, and you know, with your events are getting bigger, you're bringing in top quality fighters from overseas. You know, I know it's a battle for me to even come home to come and fight because I speak to one promoter. It's, oh, David, it's traveling fees, it's this, it's many excuses. And it looks like you work around the excuses. You don't look through the excuse, you work around the excuses. You make things happen. And your shows prove that. I wanted to touch a bit about your the fights you have brought to South Africa. You know, you have bought IBF, you've done WBO, IBO. Even that, it must be very challenging to speak to these bodies as a South African black woman, to get the guys come down to South Africa. How is it you as a promoter, African black promoter, speaking to these bodies, getting these fighters down to South Africa? Can you give us a bit of some of that?
Look, you know, especially when people think that you don't understand because it's not long that you've been in the game. They would want to manipulate, play with your
Mm,
mind.
mm,
Like, I'll give you an example of the sanctioning fees.
mhm.
I mean, for me, it would be normal to have standard sanctioning fees. But it's just unfortunate that when it's tier B, there'll be a certain, yes, when it's somebody somewhere, no, it goes, you
Down.
understand? So such things, those are the things. And now I've learned to say, oh, okay, you can actually negotiate for the sanctioning fees. And I
Fees,
think
yes,
that's how I'm doing it right, to say, oh, I've learned. And by the way, I told you that I was the chief negotiator in the public
yes.
service bargaining. So negotiations are my things. And
Okay,
that's the way to survive. Even for the pesos, I've learned to negotiate.
okay,
I know what is it that I want to give the boxer, for instance. So I will start here and move, and I know they will move along, and ultimately we will meet each other where I actually wanted to go. So
yeah,
that's a skill that I have, and I think that background of being a chief negotiator also assisted me to say, oh, okay, these are the games that are being played. Because at first I would just give and say, okay, give this boy this much, this, and people would say, so much money. I mean, even now, people are complaining to say, but you're paying this boxes too much. And my late friend, Andre Tays, I don't know if you know him.
no, I knew him
May
very
also
well. He
rest in
promoted
peace.
me too. Yes.
Yes, that was my buddy in boxing. He used to
Okay.
say me, Joyce, you're spoiling these boys. Now we can't have them because we can't afford them.
Them
And
again. Because you know, I know this that the guys back home. I've got some friends.
yes,
Once they earn this much, it's not going down. It must be
mm,
more.
you understand. If they
And
fight for this match this month, the next month they want more. The next fight they want, yeah.
yeah,
And so along the way, I learned to say, but you know what? Sometimes when the teams are difficult, I'll bring Andre in to say, go and negotiate for me.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Yes,
that's
even though sometimes you'll fight me, he'll go and sit and negotiate for this purse, and then the next thing he hears that I've actually given more. That's the thing, the part that would make us fight. But other than that, he was a good man.
yes, yes. I knew him very well. He promoted me, I think, on when I fought Busiso Zingange,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, it was one or two fights he promoted me on. So he was a very, very good man. I knew him from amateurs as well.
Oh,
Yes, and mom, it's very interesting even talking about the purses and you know, with you choosing overseas fighters now. How is difficult is this as a African promoter to bring in the fighters from overseas, going into the exchange rate, and some fighters want to be there for 2 weeks. Some fighters want to. It must be one hell of a headache. It must be easier as a promoter just to say, you know what, let me just do local fights. Let me you save money. It's local. It's easier. Um,
look,
Run us through that a little bit with promoting overseas fighters and with the promotion of local fighters. The differences, the challenges that you face as a promoter.
okay, look, for me, it's not about putting out a boxing only. It's about what am I putting out. You know, one of the objectives of TLB is to take boxing to its yesteryears. The times of the Ludwavas and stuff. So if you wanna take it there, you can't obviously think in your head to say doing locally will you will achieve what you want. That's the reasons one of the reasons I'm actually making sure that I go outside South Africa to make it entertaining, to
Yes.
to 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 explore. Yes, because I don't want boring or doing events for the sake of doing. You understand?
Mm,
It must be exciting when you talk to people to say I'm doing an event. People should say, "Wow, it's TLB." Then we're
mm,
going to see boxing. Do you understand?
yes.
Because I know we're not the same as promoters. We did not get into boxing for the same reasons. Other
Yes.
people, for them, it's quick cash into their pockets. If they get a sponsor, they know that I'm putting in fight. As long as I've put out the tournament, then
Mm,
I've got my profit. For me, it's about the same concept of taking boxing to its yesteryears. You know,
okay.
lately people are excited about boxing. I was talking
Yes.
to one gentleman today. He says to me, "You know what? My dad was a boxing lover. He used to follow boxing. He would wake up at 12 o'clock to watch boxing, wara, wara, wara." And this other guy, I knew him as a soccer player. He hasn't seen me for years. He saw me today. He was so excited because he's been following me, seeing me on TV, and says, "You know what? Boxing has been my first love, actually." And I'm glad that now people are actually able to watch boxing. People are excited. Something that was gone. People had forgotten about boxing.
Hey,
I mean,
it
these
was
days
gone.
when we talk boxing, people are excited, and I'm glad that I played part.
Yes, yes, I understand that. And Mom, you're right. It was gone. Like I remember
Yeah,
before I left, I was like, "What is happening here?" And now I'm
yeah,
watching at home. There's big arenas. I even say
yeah.
to my wife, "Man, I would have been there with Casper Novest in the undercard or something." And I say,
Yeah,
wow, man, it's a big turnaround. I'll be honest. The past 3 years in South Africa is a huge turnaround. The
yeah,
shows, the quality of boxing
yeah,
has grown. Um, I see now there's more and more fighters wanting to fight because there is promotions such as yourself, giving hope to the fighters to say, I want to fight for TLB. I want to be there. Mama Joyce, I believe she can get me a world title.
yeah.
Before, to be honest, there wasn't that. I was there when I was there it was, hey, we need to go fight for Rodney Berman. We need to
Yeah.
get there. That was everyone's.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
the target, you know. And if you
Yes.
don't get there, um,
Then you
you
don't.
you know where, you know. And what you've done, what I've seen for the past 3 4 years, is you've brought that hope back. You've brought there's so much more women fighting. There is so much more
Yes.
fighting. There is we got
Yes.
Kestobar Novest fighting, and
I'm telling
you know, yeah, it's a big turnaround, a very big turnaround, and
you.
we have
And
to. It
yes,
must be
and also a lot of people did not know that we had female boxers for that matter,
yes.
because they were never being shown. They were never female fights,
There
and
were
I'm proud to say. I mean, I tried, and of lately we see women fighting, and
and more and
even
more
with
and
our
more.
first, very first fight, we had two female bouts, and I told Baba to say, he was not in support of women fights, and I said,
Okay.
never. There's no way that myself being a woman, I will leave women behind. So you must make peace with the fact that in all our tournaments we're gonna have females
If,
fighting, and
oh no,
he got used to it. He loved them. He was actually encouraging them, and I said, I'm glad that he understood what I meant. And for me, if I'm going to have a tournament without a female, that will not be TLP.
yeah. Okay. Very nice. That's just that on its own is very nice, very empowering. You know. I'm sure
And
many of the viewers are
yes, and
watching.
another thing is, what I've been pushing is to say, I realized that in South Africa, when 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 August month comes, that's when people start jumping to say we want all female fights, wara. And I
Yes, yes.
said, it can't be that we
Only women's
use
one.
poor girls for our own gains, our own excitement, own fulfillment, to for a state to say, yeah, TLP or Joyce did a tournament. No, that is why, if you can remember, last year I did the all-female tournament
Mm-hmm.
in September. I said, let's celebrate heritage in boxing. And we celebrated heritage in the ring. I took it to Limpopo. It was beautiful, with our sponsor, by the way. And yep, and we have partnered with COSATU, by the way,
Oh
especially for the women. Yes, as
yes.
TLB, we've got a partnership with COSATU, but they only supporting for women events.
Wow.
So
That's
yes.
amazing. That's so amazing. Why I say that, I know my mom would be so proud.
I wonder who your mom is.
She was. I'll tell you later after the interview. She was a big comrade in the Kosatu and
Okay.
all. Yeah. So wow, man, it just made me happy to hear that. It's for me to see women thriving in such a sport makes me happy. You know, I wanted to ask you. You're not just promoting shows. I'm sure you have some names that you are promoting for yourself as fighters, or are you just doing shows?
No, there are fighters that are
Okay.
obviously belonging to TLB that I want to
Yeah.
push, but
Would you
well,
like
some
to
of
go
them.
through? Sorry. Would you like to go through some of the fighters that TLB currently have? You don't have to go through all of them.
Okay.
Just some. Yeah.
Um, One of my top fighters is Bukiwe Nonina, a
Okay.
girl. Yes, she's a former WBF world champion. She's a
Okay.
former 5 times SA champion, and currently she holds the ABU title.
Okay.
That she won that in April when we in Sun City doing the Select City.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I know who you're
Yes,
talking.
and there's Kolosan Dobayini. She's a South African champion currently. She has defended 4 times now.
Okay.
And yes, well, we have Simpiwe Kongo
Yes. I know
that
him
we're
very well.
promoting. Yes,
Yes.
we have Atenko Sidumezweni. We have, well, Xolisani Nomeva, and yeah, well, this other one who's just won last week is a WBF Tato Bonokwani.
Yeah.
He's been TLB, but I don't know where he stands these days now. You boxers, you're not loyal.
Eh?
Yeah, and
You boxers. Not you boxers. Not you boxers.
yeah, boxers are not loyal. Eh? Yeah, I mean, today he's your boxer, tomorrow you
Somebody
realize
else.
that he's fighting somewhere else, and then without even notifying that, by the way, I'm leaving, you understand? And then until he gets knocked from that side and nobody wants to fight them, that's when he remembers that is this Mama Joyce, you see. But and then there's other, they're not known because they're just the forerunners. They
Okay.
just turned pro last year. They've got one fights. They're from
Okay.
Northwest, and
Fix.
yes, there's also Lucky Munyambani. He's from
Okay.
Northwest as well. Yeah, but
Mom, can I
yeah.
ask you just a question? Sorry to keep cutting you like this. I want to ask you. I asked this to Steve Kerakoda the other day. Is now I hear the fighters you got under your stable. For the fighters that are watching today and also want to know what does a fighter have to do to be recognized or to be signed under like a promotion company like yourself? What is it, promoters? What do you look for in a fighter that you can say, hey, this one is very special. I want to put this one on my show. We're going to work with this guy. We're going to make him a world champion. What is it? Is it the looks, special punches? He must be able to speak. If he can speak, carry himself, he can carry your brand. What is it you guys look for in fighters? Maybe some fighters are watching. You know?
To start with, you must be able to be. You must tell me you're a boxer. You don't tell me. You must show me in the ring that you're a boxer. So that's talent. I look for talent, most importantly, and yeah, for me, that's where it starts. As
Okay.
for the others' personalities, I'm not so strict on that because
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Bukiwe can talk. She's my best bet.
Okay.
Kolosa can talk.
Mm-hmm.
Xolisani Nomeva can talk.
Mm.
Atenkosi cannot talk.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Kongo cannot talk.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky Munyawani can talk.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Tata Bunukwani can talk. We had
Mm-hmm.
Kaya, who was the Gauteng champion, who couldn't talk.
Okay.
So I'm saying I'm not that strict when it comes to those. As long as you
Okay.
can get into the ring, you show your jabs, you show your uppercuts, you knock a person, you win. Then I'm fine.
This
And
is what
some of the things.
I wanted to ask you now. You said as long as you're winning, is it the do you look for some promoters, especially in the States, is your O is gets you going. When you start losing, uh, you know what happens, as we've seen also in South Africa with some of the
They dump you.
promotions. They dump you. 1-2 loss, you no more there, no more super sport, you finished.
Um,
You know?
no,
Is it
that's not how I
no?
am.
Okay.
With TLB, they're fortunate because
Mm.
even after losing, I still take care of them. I still
Okay.
give them an opportunity. And look, I believe that you can't expect somebody to be a Floyd Mayweather. Not everybody's a Floyd
Mm.
Mayweather. Do you understand? So if you lose today, it does not mean that next fight you're going. I'll give an example of Nomeva. When he fought in 2020, when he lost to underdog Prince Lomo. He
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
Lomo was nobody at the time,
Mhm.
and he fought against Nomeva. He knocked Nomeva, and
Yeah.
people thought it was the end of his
Eh,
career. But I
yes.
still gave him fights. I gave him an opportunity. Atenkos lost when he was still with the Club Promotions. And then after losing his WBC International, he was thrown into dustbin. I took him out of the dustbin. And maybe let me share this. 99% of the boxers that TLB is promoting, we took them from the dustbins.
Yeah, with promoters that threw them away.
Yep.
Wow, it's I think that's amazing that what you've done, and it's also it's sad for the fighter. I know myself how difficult it gets when you start losing fights. You're knocking on doors. Nobody wants to work with you anymore. You start thinking your bread, your brother, your children, your family. Why are you doing this boxing? A lot of these things start eating you up. But
Mm.
that's amazing, Mom. What you got going there, and it sounds like there's only one way up. The TLP is up. There's only one way, and that's just more and more success. I want to touch on. I think everyone's waiting for this question. Uh, your fighter, the Casper Novest, the red star. How did this all come about? Was it the Jake Paul story in America that okay now the YouTube fighters are fighting? Let's start see if we can get the musicians fighting. How did this all come about? It's very exciting, I must say. I'm also a fan of Casper Novest, so we're
Oh,
watching.
wow. I'll
Yeah,
let him know that.
yeah.
um, Look, they approached me actually,
Okay, okay.
and I think it's because of they've been seeing what I'm doing,
Mhm.
and to say, "Mama, this is what we want to do," and I said, "Oh, I'm game." I mean, who says no to Casper Novest?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Casper,
yeah.
and for me, it was an opportunity to actually um, accomplish what I've been saying to say I want to take boxing to its yesteryears. So having them and having entertainment put
Yes, I
together
saw
with
the
their
last
sport,
show. Mm,
yes, and it's something that actually helped us to revive boxing.
yes.
So it was wow, what an opportunity, and yes.
Now, is there a difference between promoting a fight night like that and then promoting a big world title fight night with just boxing? Where with the Casper Novest, I always watch and I see there's always uh, entertainment, there's celebrities, there is concerts with different acts, there is boxing, and then you'll have one, two, three pro fights, and then you'll have the main fight.
Professional
Is
fights.
there a difference with the promoting and with the work in with the two, with the entertainment and with the proper boxing, or everything is actually done similarity, the same?
In actual fact, there's no difference per se.
Okay.
The difference is just that with ordinary boxing, you'll go and watch boxing and that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
this one, you bring some spices because for me, entertainment is the spices that we've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can tell you, actually, before even the Casper Celeb City stuff, as TLB, that's what we've been doing. Is that it did not have those high quality entertainers or names like the
Okay.
Caspers,
Mm-hmm.
but we've always had celebrities at our events.
Yes.
Always had entertainment. um, if I can share with you the Ledwaba Memorial Tournament that we had in July, we had so many legends from the music industry, from acting, from boxing itself. So we had the Mapaputis, we had the Zambias, we had Alaska,
Yes.
and we had Jack Maba. So we had, yeah, the Welcome Knitters and
Thank you,
Vuani
boss.
Bunkus. So, so you can understand it's in us.
Mm.
It's in
No, that's
TLB.
yes, that's amazing, mom. And it's truly is amazing what you're doing. How I've watched your promotion company grow from Germany is it's amazing. I have a question here from my wife. She wanted to ask you, what impact would you like to make in South Africa as a woman promoter, as a woman? What impact would you like to make?
Getting more female boxers, giving them the same exposure that the males are getting. For instance, trying getting them sponsors, individual sponsors, because they're still struggling, and having more women in boxing
Okay, very nice. And I'm sure
and
the way you
producing more champions.
and producing more champions.
Yep.
Nice, man, nice. And what I wanted to know is uh, for the end of year, now we're going into the last, 12 weeks or anything. Any events coming up? Anything exciting you have in the next, to close off the year?
In the next 2 months.
Yes, in the next 2 months. 2 months?
Um,
No, 3 months.
no, I'm not counting this one.
It's
We're
two.
already in it.
Yes, it's 2 months.
Look, I will be knowing by the end of the week. Oh, by end of the week is tomorrow. To say, are we gonna have something to close the year? But it's a wish, and actually, it's in my plans. So once the sponsor confirms by tomorrow, we will definitely have another one, if not two.
Oh, wow. Very nice. We'll be looking forward to those. We'll definitely be looking forward to those. And any visions, like not just for the next 2 months, let's say for the next 3 years for TLB. Yes, you mentioned more titles, but is there any other big things you'd like to do? Maybe fill the FNB stadium, something like that, make a stadium fight night. I don't know if South Africa, maybe years ago, when they had fights in the stadiums, FNB stadium.
In
Do,
FNB.
yes, is there
Yeah.
anything
uh,
like that you guys are looking on doing?
Yes, depending on obviously who is to fight, because for
Hmm.
you to go to the stadium, you have to look at your fight card.
Yes,
So it's our wish, it's our dream to have such an event, and next year maybe you'll help me getting more sponsors, because it's my wish to say, because that memorial tournament of Ledwaba, I would, I don't want it to be a once-off event. My
agreed.
plan is to have it again next year in July, and my wish is to have Manny Pacquiao coming to South Africa. You remember,
Wow.
he's the man
Yes,
that was founded after firing Ledwaba,
yes.
and I would love to have him in South Africa to be part of that event. So
Okay.
it tells you it has to be a big event.
Yes, yes. And I've got faith you can do it, ma. 100%. There's nothing stopping you. And I'm sure you will pull it off. 100%, 100%. And I also wanted to ask you, um, fights that you would love to, if you could, put together. We've got the Chris Van Heerden in America. I know he wanted to fight one of Peter Smith's boys, Mugabe. Mugabe.
So,
Yes. Is there any fights you would love to put together in names that you can think of, like David Rajuili versus Zonkefana? No, I'm joking. uh, he was my coach. But
yes,
yeah, is there any fights that you would love to, if you could, promote in South Africa? Maybe some local fights, maybe international versus local, just at the top of your head.
look, for now, my best bet was on Atenkosi. So because he lost the last time,
Okay.
and I obviously have to give him another chance for him to get his ratings. But
Mm-hmm.
he's one of my top bets.
Okay.
And Kongo, I would have loved to give him an opportunity, but looking at his age, I don't think we can have anything of that nature.
Okay.
But yes, and obviously my girl, and then I also have got new girls that are coming. There's another boy. This is decided if I forgot him. Yes, I would love to give him that opportunity. He's still young, and he's doing so well. I mean, his last two fights, he knocked people, and he's just so exciting to watch. So obviously, I would love to see him doing it internationally and not only locally.
Okay. Very nice. And are you planning to do um, take your fighters internationally in the new year, like you as a
Yes,
promoter, go with them to the States, go with them.
yes,
Okay, very nice,
that's
very nice.
that's 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 my biggest dream.
Okay, now, mom, just a quick one. You don't play? You know, you did. It's divided. You get a coach, manager, promoter. Sometimes you get promoter, manager. They do the same. You just promoter. Do you also manage some of the fighters, or you got some people doing that on your behalf?
To be honest, most of my boxers, it's like I'm managing them. You
Okay.
know, the duties of the manager is to get fights for the boxer. They
And
don't,
it's
because the boxers automatically belong to TLB. So TLB
okay.
will offer them fights,
Yes.
and
Okay.
marketing them, making sure that they get exposure. I do that, you
Okay.
know. And the trainer comes, they hear there's a contract signed, the boxer must fight on such a day, and yeah, basically that is that. But I can't say that my boxers have got managers. I actually do the managing, even though it's not. I'm not doing it officially,
Okay.
because you know, in
But
South
you,
Africa you can't have two licenses. You
yes, yes, yes.
can either be a trainer, a manager, or
Promoter.
a promoter. But at least managers and trainers, they can play those both roles with one license. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
problem. But for us as
Hmm.
promoters, I just do it out of my own will. And yeah, I forgot to come Loveti.
Okay. They're all coming back to you, mom. They're all coming back to you.
Yes, yes, and I gave him an opportunity in July. Well, unfortunately, he lost to Harry Simon Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's one of the boxers, shame, that had just joined Litwaba before his passing on.
Okay.
So I feel I need to honor the fact that he had joined Litwaba, and yeah, I
Nice.
know
Sounds
his
like
age is not on his side.
I will be honest, the group of fighters that you have, they're very lucky to have you because it sounds like you actually not their promoter, you like their mother. You you're there to groom them, to take care of them, and to get them to their highest potential. Also, there is passion behind what you're doing. There is big reason to doing what you're doing, and with that comes a lot of success. So all your boxers that have signed under TLB are very, very lucky, I must say. And I was just going to ask you, like, all this promoting, managing all these boxers, are you doing this all by yourself, or you have a team of people to help you out here and there, like you had Andre Tesa, may his soul rest in peace. You said he was helping you out. He's gone now. Do you have a team helping you, or are you doing this all by yourself?
Well, for now, I don't have a team, but
Oh,
yes, I don't have.
wow.
You know, yeah, some of the duties I get help or assisted by my son.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
but
Good one.
he's more into branding and marketing, but
Okay.
there's other stuff I do them,
You do it
and
all.
maybe it's yes, and maybe it's because when you've got this, some other personalities like the one that I have, I believing in doing things myself because you know you give duties to people, they don't deliver the way you would have wanted
Yeah,
them to. to
Very good.
be and
Yes, yes.
become a failure at the end of the day. My principle is I want to fail because I have failed, but I don't want to fail because somebody failed me or made
Somebody
me to
else.
fail. Yes.
Okay, that's very nice, Mom. I just got a message now from Eddie Barrington. He
Barrington.
says he says it's an amazing interview. Thank you so much, and she says thank you, Joyce. You're very inspirational. These are some of our viewers watching us today, uh, listening to us, and yeah, I'm also inspired by you. Just hearing this, it's amazing, Mom. It's amazing. And yeah, we've come to the end of our show a little bit. I could speak for more and more and ask questions the whole night. Um, but I just want to say thank you very much. But before we go, for any woman watching this, young little girls wanting to box, young little girls thinking of becoming promoters, uh, tackling this boxing world. Do you have any words of inspiration or words for them?
Yes. All that I can say is believe in yourself. Never doubt yourself. If you've got love for something, passion is very crucial. And that's what keeps me going, actually. Never doubt yourself.
Yes, that's very good, mom. And it's true. It's true. I needed to pick up myself like this. What you just said, this is what I've been going through, the doubt, but no more, I'll be back in the ring end of the year. So it's good what you're saying, killing the doubt, believing in yourself. You can achieve anything, and those are very powerful words. Mom, any last words from our viewers where they can reach you if they want to find more about you? And yeah, just any last closing words or last statement?
Thank you. And let me rather start with you first and say thanks for having me on your show. And you said who's your colleague?
Uh, Eric
Eric.
Price. Yes, but
Yes.
they're in the
Thanks,
studio.
thanks to them, and it's an honor. Um, and please follow us, keep following TLB Boxing Promotions, and good luck with your next fight.
Thank you, ma'am.
If you want to follow us, we are on Facebook, it's TLB Boxing Promotions. On Twitter, I'm using my personal, it at Teko Mateka. And well, I'm not such a busy person on the this other one, because we don't talk there. You just see us dancing and do other things, and obviously with my age, I would not cope up with that. Yeah. That's the Instagram. So I visit it, but I'm just going on my Instagram page. And yes, when there's other fights, we will keep you posted, and we'll appreciate that you can share with the world what we're doing.
No, 100%, ma'am. And what I would like to do is to actually get some of your women fighters on my show these coming weeks. I would like to speak to one or two of your champions. I'm sure the viewers would also love to hear from some of the women fighters. I'm trying to get as many women fighters on my show. So I'll be speaking to you soon just to get some of your fighters on the show. And once again, you're a very busy woman. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sitting down with us, letting us know who you are, a little bit about you, and about your promotion company. Very exciting. Um, TLB all the way, and I'm sure we have new viewers and many people will be watching you. So thank you very much, Ma, and thank you for your time. And yeah, I'll definitely be watching and supporting 100%.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. My